The model for today is this carrot field and shed tile. It is in the same style as the mini tower tile model we did in a previous tutorial. We are going to start with the base. We Shift A to add a cylinder with 7 sides. We enter edit mode with Tab and select the top face, E plus S to extrude it and scale it at the same time, and E again to extrude it upwards. Tab to go to object mode and S to scale the base. Now we're going to add a bevel modifier to give it a more round look. Shade the smooth and enable auto smooth tool. And here I am in edit mode, just adjusting the top part of the base. Okay, now we're going to model the shed. We start with Shift A to add a cube, and we use S to scale it into a more of a rectangle shape. Ctrl R to add 3 loops, and inside edit mode we press Q to go to edges and select the 3 in the middle, and then G set to move upwards. Then we select the one in the middle and again G set to move it upwards. Now select the edges on the front and X to dissolve. Now press K for the knife tool and create 2 horizontal cuts across the surface. Select those edges and Ctrl B to bevel them once. Now we adjust the position of the bottom one until it aligns with the bottom of the shed. Now press 3 to go to faces, select both of them, and P to separate selection. Now select the new object, Tab to go to edit mode, select the faces and E to extrude them. Press A to select all faces and move them a tiny bit inside the shed base. Tab to go to object mode and Shift D plus R set to rotate them 90 degrees on the Z axis. Then SY to make them shorter. Now we adjust their size until we're happy with their position. Select the front ones and add a bevel modifier. Now select both objects, go to the bevel modifier and on the down arrow select copy to selected. Then we select the front ones and add a mirror modifier on the Y-axis. With the eyedropper tool select the shed base. We repeat the same with the side ones, but we mirror them on the X-axis only. We're going to model the door now. Add a cube and scale it until you like the shape. Scale it on the Y-axis a bit so it will go a bit inside the shed. Position it and now add a boolean modifier in difference mode to the shed base and the front 2 pieces. Apply both modifiers and then press X to delete the cube. Now go to front view, add a plane and RY to rotate and R set to rotate again. Here I am in edit mode, selecting the edges, and with G I'm moving them until the plane is in the same size that the hole we just made. Then tap to object mode, select the plane and position it where the door would go. Go to edit mode, select the front face and E to extrude it a little bit. Then press sidebar to go to isolation mode. Select these faces and extrude along normal. Select these faces and extrude them forwards again. Get out of isolation mode and hide the base model. Now we can extrude the faces again until they align with the bottom bars. Tap to edit mode and Ctrl R to add a loop in the middle. Select the front edge only and Ctrl B to bevel it once. Then go to faces, select that one and extrude them forward until it aligns with the top. Select the edges and bevel them until you are happy with the result. Now go to front view in object mode and Shift A to add a cube. SX and SZ to scale it until it looks like another bar, and use G and R to position it crossing one side of the door. Add a bevel modifier and make the necessary adjustments until you are happy. Then in object mode, add a mirror modifier on the X-axis to create another crossbar. Go to front view and press K for the knife tool. Create a cut in the middle top part, then select the edge and Ctrl B to bevel it once. Select the face and P to separate selection. Then select that new object, go to Edit mode and extrude the face forward. Tap to Object mode and apply a bevel modifier. Now Shift D to duplicate and RY to rotate it. Once it is in position, select that one and add a mirror modifier on X-axis. Remember selecting the shade base with the eyedropper tool. Now select the shade base model and go to Edit mode and Wireframe view. Press K for the knife and make 2 cuts on the top part to create 4 partitions. Now Ctrl R to add 5 loops inside each of the 4 partitions. Now K for the knife again, make these 2 cuts and Ctrl R to add some loops. Try to make them align with the top ones. K again to cut here and Ctrl R to add more loops. Again aligning them with the top ones and the same for the other side. Go to the side view in wireframe mode and with the knife make a first cut, then Ctrl R to add the rest. Do the same on the other side. With wireframe mode, you can see through and align the first cut on the other side so the rest will be exactly the same. Select all the edges we just made and Ctrl B to bevel them. Then extrude inwards the selected faces and make sure that individual origins is enabled. For the roof, I'm going to select the shed base and go to Edit mode. Select this face and P to separate selection. Then E to extrude it upwards, select the top vertices and give it some incline. Now I'm shaping it a bit better and positioning it until it looks more like one of the tiles on the roof of a shed. Here I'm selecting one vertex in the middle and snapping the 3D cursor to it, and then setting the origin to 3D cursor so I have better control to press RY and incline it. Once I have the first one positioned, I'm going to Shift D and make small adjustments until I have covered the top of the shape. Then select all of them and Ctrl J to join them. I'm scaling them a bit more and making adjustments until I'm happy. Then add a mirror modifier on the X-axis with the base shed as the object to mirror. Add a bevel modifier to your liking, and then I'm selecting the base shed model and adding another bevel modifier to it. Once I'm happy, I'll select all the objects and Ctrl J to join them into one object. Ctrl A to apply all transforms, and now I press sidebar to go out of isolation mode and position the shed on top of the base we previously made. Now we are gonna model the carrot field. Shift A to add a cube and SZ to scale it down. Now we add a bevel modifier and apply it. I'm going to scale it with SX to make it look a little bit more rectangular. Then we Shift A to add a cylinder, at least with 14 sides. First, we use S to scale it down a little, and we press Tab to go to edit mode, and now we use Ctrl R to add 5 loops. We enable X-ray, and box selecting the vertices, we press S to scale them down and create a rough shape of a carrot. Now we are going to create some indentation in the carrots, so we select these edges, Ctrl B to bevel them once, and with the face selected we press E to extrude towards the inside. We repeat the process once more, and now we add a subdivision modifier and apply it. Then we go to the front view, Shift A to add a plane, S to scale it down a bit, and Tab to enter edit mode. Ctrl R to add more loops, and now box selecting the vertices, we're going to give it a rough leaf shape. Select all the faces and E to extrude them upwards. Ctrl R again to create one more loop across the leaf, and then select that edge and with GZ move it down. Now add a subdivision modifier and enter edit mode again. Ctrl R to add more loops around the leaf, and then select the top faces and GZ to move them upwards to give it more body. Make some more adjustments until the leaf looks like you want it and apply the modifier. With proportional editing selected, I'm going to give it some curvature by selecting one vertex and pressing GZ to curve it. Now I'm selecting this edge and Ctrl B to bevel it once, select the faces and D to extrude them inwards. RX to rotate and S to scale it down. Then we position the leaf over the top of the carrot. We're going to change the origin point so it will be easier to duplicate them. Press sidebar to go into isolation view, tap to edit mode, vertices, and select one of the vertices on the bottom. Go to mesh, snap, cursor to selected, then tap to object mode and go to object, set origin to 3D cursor. Press sidebar again to exit isolation mode and select the carrot, the leaf and the base, and press sidebar to isolate those three. Go to front view, select the leaf, and Shift D plus RZ to duplicate and rotate the leaf. Now, position it however you prefer and make more duplicates if you want. Now select all the elements of the carrot and go to the top view. Shift D to duplicate and GX to move it. Create more duplicates and fill the base. Once you're done, select all the elements and press sidebar again to exit isolation mode. Now position it on top of the base of the model. And finally, I'm selecting all of it and with Ctrl J, joining them together. For the case full of carrots, we're gonna Shift A to add a plane and press sidebar to isolate. Now go to the top view and SX to make it more rectangular. Tab to enter edit mode and Ctrl R to add two loops. Now select those two faces and go to the side view and E to extrude up. Now we add two more loops horizontally with Ctrl R. Go to the front view and enable X-ray. Add another loop vertically in the middle. Box select the vertices on the left side and X delete them. Add two more vertical loops here and select these faces, X and delete them. Now select these four vertices and press F to fill them. We're going to do the same with all the holes. Once you are done, add a bevel modifier and apply it once you are happy with how it looks. Then we're going to add a mirror modifier on the X-axis and apply it too. Shift A to add a plane, use RY to rotate 90 degrees, now go to the side view and use RZ to rotate 90 degrees again. Now with G and S we are going to make it match first with the size of the case and then with the top part. Select the face and E to extrude it. Now for the hole in this side, we're going to add another cube. Size it down until we're happy with it. Add a bevel modifier and apply it. Then position it across the other object. Select the part of the case and add a boolean modifier, and with the eyedropper tool select the small cube crossing the object. Now apply the modifier, select the small cube again and X to delete, and we have our hole. Position it so it is covering the end of the case and make some adjustments if necessary, and then apply the bevel modifier. Once it is positioned right, add a mirror modifier on the Y-axis and mirror the central object. Here I am joining all the parts with Ctrl J, and then I'm going into object mode, faces, and A to select all and use the shrink fatten tool to give it a more plushy look. Now for the carrots inside, we Shift A to add a cylinder. Go to front view, tap to edit mode, and with Alt select the bottom edge and scale it down. Then with Alt again, select the top edge and extrude it upward. Then scale the top down, use Ctrl R to add more loops, and S to scale the edges down to give it a better carrot shape. And shade smooth. Then Shift A to add a plane, S to scale it down, and Ctrl R to add some more loops. Select them and S to scale them down until you have a rough shape of a leaf. Now Ctrl R to add a loop in the middle. Ctrl B to bevel it once and then select the faces surrounding it and E to extrude them out. Then add a subdivision modifier and apply it. Go to Side View, enable X-Ray and select the middle vertex, and with proportional editing enabled, GX to give it some curvature. Shade the smooth and position it on top of the carrot. Now Shift D, I'm duplicating it and positioning both of them. Once they are where I want them, I'm going into Edit mode and select all faces with A to use the Shrink Fatten tool again on both of them. Apply all the modifiers, make adjustments and join all three objects with Ctrl J. Finally, position it inside the case and with Shift D make duplicates and fill the case however you like best. Then select all and Ctrl J to join them again, sidebar to get out of isolation mode and size and position the case. I'm making a duplicate again to have more than one. Now I'm going to duplicate the carrot fill and make it smaller too. Shift D to duplicate and Tab to go to Edit mode, with X-Ray enabled. Ctrl R to add another loop here. Now go to the Side View and select all of these vertices and X delete them. Now, with Alt, press, select this edge and F to fill it. Go to Faces and select this one. Then E to extrude out a little bit, Ctrl B to bevel the edges, and press the sidebar to go out of isolation mode and position the model. Now we're gonna model some side poles with rope, as if to protect the fill, so Shift A to add a cube, now press SX and SZ to scale it down, and then SY to make it thinner. Once we have the rough shape, Ctrl R to add a loop closer to the top, and then Q to go to edges. Pressing Alt, select all of these edges, and then S to scale it down a bit. Now add a bevel modifier and apply it when you're happy with it. Now Shift A to add a circle, go to the top view and position the circle around the pole. Scale it down and change to front view to adjust it. Then inside Object Properties, go to Geometry, Bevel and increase the depth. Once you are happy with it, shade the smooth and convert to mesh. Then add a subdivision modifier and apply it. Here I am making some adjustments because I felt it was too big. Then we position the first one, go to top view and Shift D to duplicate it twice. I use G to position them and R set to rotate them a little bit so they won't all look exactly the same. Now for the rope between the poles, we're going to Shift A to add a Bezier curve. Go to top view to locate it, then RY to rotate it, and then GX to move it towards the first pole. Now go to the side view and tap to enter edit mode. Now with G we are going to position the vertices so they are joining both poles. Tap to enter object mode and inside the object properties, geometry, depth. Once you are happy with it, select the object and right-click to convert it to a mesh. Auto Smooth and add a subdivision modifier. Apply it. And here I am adjusting the position of one of the ends so it looks more natural. Then we are going to repeat the process for the other side of the rope. Now we're gonna model a pushcart or a trolley, I'm not sure how it's called in English. But we Shift A to add a cube and S to scale it until it looks more rectangular. Tap to enter edit mode and select the top face. Press I to insert a face here and leave a small border. Now E to extrude it inwards. Now go to top view, X-ray enable and select the top vertices, and with proportional editing on, scale it up a bit. Then select the bottom ones and scale them down. Go to the side view and select the front vertices and G-set to move them downward. Now Shift A to add a cube and use S to give it a bar shape. Then from side view, RX to rotate it and align it with the bottom of the previous object. Go to the front view and use GX to bring it to the edge of the previous object. Then use RZ to align it again. Now select the bar and tap to enter edit mode. Ctrl R to create a loop here and then select this face and I to insert the face. Scale it down so it is a square and then E to extrude it out. Now in edit mode, select these edges and Ctrl B to bevel them. Now we're going to bevel the top part too. Select the edges and with Ctrl B bevel them again. Now go to the side view and with Ctrl R add two loops here, adjust the position if necessary and then select this face and with E extrude it out. Select the edges and with Ctrl B bevel them too. Now with the object selected, we're going to apply a mirror modifier on the X-axis and mirroring to the top object. Now, for the wheel, go to front view and Shift A to add a circle. RX 90 degrees and then RZ 90 degrees again. Go to the side view and use GY to position it and S to make it smaller. Now go to edit mode and press A to select all edges, then press F to fill the circle. Now select the face we just created and E to extrude it. Add a subdivision modifier and then Ctrl R to add a vertical loop. Select this face and GX to move it. Select the other side and GX to move it too. Now select both side faces and press I to insert face. Then press E to extrude it inward. And now apply the subdivision modifier. Go to edit mode faces, press A to select all and use the shrink fatten tool to make it thicker. Then adjust the position to your liking and make sure all the modifiers have been applied. Select all and Ctrl J to join. I'm going to change the origin point here to make it easier to position. Select one vertex and go to Mesh, cursor to select, tap to Object Mode, go to Object, Origin to 3D Cursor. Now position it. For the rocks, we're going to add a cube and add a subdivision modifier. Select the vertices and use Shift Ctrl B to bevel them. Then use G to move the vertices and S to shape the rock. Add a bevel modifier and shade smooth. Position it wherever you like, and now with Shift D I'm making duplicates and using S to give some variety and G to position them around. For the grass, we're gonna Shift A to add a plane, SX and SY to scale it down. Tap to Edit Mode and Ctrl R to add some loops. With proportional editing enabled, select the top vertices and scale them down. Go to Side View, select all faces and E to extrude up. Then add a subdivision modifier. Select the edge in the middle and G-set to move it down a little bit. Now select the vertex in the middle and with the proportional editing on, press G-set to give it some curvature. Tap to Object Mode, press RX 90 degrees to rotate and change the origin point to the bottom. Now Shift D and R set to duplicate and rotate in place. Position the duplicate, then select both objects and Ctrl J to join them. Now tap to Edit Mode Faces, press A to select all and use the Shrink Fatten tool. Shade the smooth and add a subdivision modifier so it looks better. Now position it wherever you like. And with Shift D, make duplicates and scatter them around. Finally, add the materials and the lining. And here is the result. I hope you have liked the tutorial and that you find it helpful. If you like any specific models, you can leave a comment down below and I'll try my best to get it done. Thanks for watching and see you in the next tutorial!